All right, welcome back. It is an exciting time with the football season. It really is. This is that frenetic 5 to 6 weeks where everything comes to a crescendo. The leagues finish, the rest of the cups finish, and then we have that little bit of break. Although there's not much of a break this year, is there? Because we've got FIFA Club World Cup.
Yeah.
There's so much. The main reason I want to chat to you about football today is that we have a very unique case of a double back-to-back Soweto Derby. Now, you played for both teams. You made a name for yourself back in the day as a Chiefs player. You scored a bunch of goals.
Can I jump in
Yeah.
before you go into? Look, he's a Chiefs player. I know he played for both teams, guys. It still really touches my heart that he wore that other jersey. Had to get that out the way now. He's actually a Chiefs legend, and he randomly played for Pirates. I just wanted to land that point quickly.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that, because if you were to look just at your Chiefs cap 79, Pirates 9.
Yeah.
So you've played for both, but you were a legend of one, let's be honest.
Yeah, I kind of played for...
I mean, obviously your heart is with...
100%. Kosi for life. 100%.
Well,
Kosi for life.
heard it here first.
Yeah, so my reason for coming back, and it was just an honor to play for both teams, even though the latter wasn't that successful. But just to understand the magnitude of the jersey. I came back because I lost my place in Bafana, and it was just before the 2006 World Cup. So that was my thinking, come back, be in the coach's eye, and then make it. Unfortunately, we never qualified for 2006 World Cup, so that was a little bit unfortunate. But it did give me the opportunity and understanding of the rivalry and being on the other side as well.
So when you joined that club, obviously you joined at the start of your career. You were a promising youngster. You played age group for the national team. And then that was your kind of big signing. I mean, as I said at the start of the show, the interview you had with Mike Morton Talks Football, it's really great. It's like you were working at Liberty Life.
Yes.
You were earning 3,000 Rand a month.
Can you believe
and then
it?
you took a pay cut to go earn 1,800 a month to go be a footballer.
Yeah,
But
that's when you follow your passion, and that's when you're lucky enough and fortunate enough to follow your passion. So money is never the deciding factor. It was just an opportunity to do what you love, and then if you get paid for it, brilliant.
So your time at Chiefs obviously came with this whole thing that the Soweto Derby was a big deal.
Yeah.
Did you kind of feel like going into it that there was always something more on it, or do you think that people make too much of the hype around it?
Honestly, I never understood how big it is. Chiefs is a big team. Pirates is a big team. I started my career at Wits University, which then became Bidvest Wits, and it was like the institute that would feed the big teams. The Bradley Carnells, the Lavas Mutlalas, the Junaid Hartleys, and later myself. So I knew Chiefs was big, but only when you play for Chiefs and when you play in a derby do you understand the magnitude. And players will share this, like, if you've lost in a derby, you can't go to fill in petrol. Because, like, the guys, it's personal, bruv. Honestly, later on I went to Europe and you understand the passion, but it's a different passion. Here, they literally won't greet you. A guy that loves you, that asks you for your T-shirt, that's jumping around. Like, if you lose, oh no, you'll send somebody else there. Wow. It is massive. And the first derby I played was just after the Ellis Park disaster. And it was the old FNB. And we all had to keep doves in our hands, like entering the FNB. So this is not your new World Cup stadium. This is the old one where you come through the tunnel. So there was like a staircase and you enter FNB, right? So I think I'm like fourth, fifth standing there. As I come out, like that noise, the old FNB, 90,000 pack, that noise is deafening. And I got so nervous, I let my dove out there before I had to, like that game. Trust me, I've played in other derbies. I've played in against Galatasaray. It is intimidating, but I tell you what, the Soweto Derby is something else, and it's everything that people hype it up to be.
So Shaz, I mean, obviously, as a fan in the day, I mean, at what age were you super excited about watching your first derby properly?
Look, I was lucky enough. My dad used to be managing the suite, and we got to watch. It used to be called the Iwisa Soccer Spectacular at that time, and it was the big four teams at the time. So I was lucky to see, like, Jerry's Kosanas, I will never forget, Dr. Kumalo scoring the penalty and then taking off the jersey and, running around the stadium. So, and Gavin Lane ballooning the penalty as well. He's still a great defender. But I've got a few, lucky times where I've gotten to watch, the derby. But during that time, it was, your Steve Likuleas, you guys going at it, and full attacking wingers running up and down the line, and step overs and flair, and that was for me like my favorite time of the derbies, when we had those players at that time, because now I was cognizant of it and I understood these are the legends now, and I can actually have a better grip of it. So but even now when I went to go watch, it was packed. It was great, entertaining football. The drama of the derby. I think we're now officially moving away from this narrative that it's 0-0s. Now we're having like 2-1s, 3-2s. The decisive, situations happening. Penalties, controversial penalties that were never penalties that get called.
Still on that, huh?
I'm just saying, my heart hasn't healed from being cheated.
But would I be right in saying that there was definitely, like you spoke about that now,
Yeah.
those childhood memories you'll never forget. So you were a mercurial player, as I said, in that sort of era. Do you feel like the occasion almost got too big, and that's why the games did get a bit more boring?
The game
There
has
was almost
changed.
too much at stake.
No, I think the game has changed. Like in Europe, in South Africa as well. Like if you're an athlete, you can play football now. If you can run for 90 minutes plus, if you have the basics, you can play football now. And as you were speaking there, I was just remembering that the culture in the derby was like, who's going to be the guy that's been spoken about after the derby? Like there'll always be a player that'll control this situation, that he's take the team on his back. Is it Steve Lekolea? Is it Thabo Muki? Is it Dr. Kumalo? Is it Jabu Pule? Is it Stiga? Is it Gift Liremi? Is it Joseph Makanya? So going into those games, you're like, okay, today I think I'm going to take this. This is going to be my derby. Like when people leave here, they're going to be singing tiki tiki yo, like stuff like that, And I think now it's all about the result. It's all about team. There's very little individual play. There's no longer the number 10 position in world football. There's the front three where you need to score goals. Mo Salah is not a striker, but he's playing in a front three that scores goals, So it has evolved. The game is different, and it's definitely more of a team effort. And the individual player, I won't say is being lost, but the likelihood of there being a star player in the team is not likely with your normal teams. You look at Madrid, yes, they'll have Rodrigo, yes, they'll have Mbappe, yes, they'll have Jude. The big teams have the individuals, but if you look at everybody else, there's no longer that one standout guy that actually wears the number 10 that says, okay, guys, if I'm having an off day, the team's having an off day, So it's kind of evolved.
Do you think, and I wanted to always ask you this, has it gotten less physical? Because it felt like when you guys were playing, it was a lot more physical.
Yeah, they're more protected now.
Yeah.
Like back in the day, you're playing Olympic qualifiers, and you're away to Ghana, and there's 2-footed tackles coming this side, and you're like ref, the left, carry on. Like honestly, I think, which is actually good for the sport. More protection. There's now VAR. We've seen in CAF Champions League, which was so important for Pirates.
Yes.
If you were watching that game, I'm sorry to divert, but if you were watching that game, and they never called it off, the Pyramids goals, we'd see no home team advantage that will rise. But thankfully for VAR, there was clear evidence that, that was offside.
So again, going back to the whole dynamic of Chiefs versus Pirates, I think people might have fallen. I'm talking at a very perimeter level here. They might have more fallen out of love with it in recent years because Chiefs aren't the big team anymore. But do you feel like, again, you're so far from the playing days now, you can speak more freely. Do you feel like the parity is almost coming back a little bit from this season? Because we've seen, I mean, again, I feel your pain when you talk about your team.
Yeah, thank you.
But it's obvious they are playing a bit more freedom now. They are playing a bit more confidence. They're a lot more exciting. They have a bit more belief in themselves. Would you feel like the parity is starting to come back a little bit more?
Can I tell you why? I honestly think, yes, I went to Europe and I came back. And then I could feel, okay, the derby is not the derby. Like, we're not exciting because there's no individual players that we're loving and stuff like that. But having said that, I think there was an overkill because there was the Vodacom Cup. Yep. They would play Chiefs Pirates. Then you'll have the league. Then you'll have another cup. So they used to play each other.
Right.
So much. Yeah. Let's look at this season. The first round, because of the delayed kickoff of the PSL, there was no last year, the first round of this season. No derby. Then what happened? Beginning of Jan, boom.
Boom, big, great,
Excitement.
great derby.
Craze. It's going mad. That's why I'm not a fan of this back-to-back. Because I believe it's an overkill. When you get too much of anything, it's no good. But having said that, I think it's a good thing for Kaizer Chiefs that they could finally get an opportunity to get a cup, a drought for 10 years. And if you beat Orlando Pirates,
Even better. Give
even
us
better.
another
So
cup.
so let's not be too harsh on the back-to-back. Let's be thankful for Kaizer Chiefs' sake.
I guess. I mean, it's just that's how the fate has fallen on this, right? It was always going to be a PSL fixture, so that's 3rd of May. But to look ahead to the 10th of May Nedbank Cup, okay, this has been going since 1971. Original Bob.
Wow.
Bob and Rothmans.
Bob. If you want to find interesting sports sponsorships, go back into the history of South African
Yeah,
football.
we've got some crazy.
There's some
sponsors.
crazy cups and there's these fly-by-night companies, and
Yeah.
it's very interesting. But
Bob safe.
so going since 1971, Chiefs were bloody good in the beginning, plateaued a bit, little blips here and there. So they've won 13 of these cups. This is essentially our FA Cup. Pirates have won 10. Okay, so now
But also, Pirates have been dominant. This is their cup.
this is their cup. They've been bloody good. There was the famous win last year in Mobella Stadium. So let's talk pure strategy here. Going to this back-to-back, okay, we know that Pirates have a workload kind of thing. As you said, 15, 16 players are being drilled.
Yeah.
They've been ridden like Seabiscuit, to quote another term. They've got the CAF Champions League commitments. They've got to chase Sundowners in the league, so they can't let up. Plus, they've got this massive Nedbank Cup final. This game that's going to be the PSL Soweto Derby on the 3rd. I mean, at the risk of asking a stupid question, I'm going to go for it. But Pirates have got to go full strength with this, right? They've got to really put everything they can into this.
They have to, and they will.
And now on the other token, do Chiefs then maybe look at it like a 2-week kind of thing? Let's go into it a little easier, knowing that the 10th is a priority. Is that something that would go into the mindsets of these guys?
Yeah, so for Kaizer Chiefs, they also have the top 8. So they
Which
can't.
they weren't in last year.
Exactly. Remember my pain, bro.
I think you sucked. You
Yeah,
bro.
he's trying to get to me.
No, you can reel it out
Yeah.
easy.
No. So it's not going to be that. I think they'll want to win because they have not secured top 8 position, which is massive. Looking forward, if Coach Nabi is to stay,
It's just a pride thing. A team like that not being top 8.
can you believe it? Yeah.
Been there before.
Okay, so we're going full strength. Both these
2
matches
weeks
are going to be
No.
hard.
2 weeks of full strength teams. Please, nobody get hurt. I think that's.
But
the
that's too
biggest
late
thing.
because Chiefs Msemango's out, Miguel is out, Dove just come back. So they've got a lot of injuries
Yeah,
that
but
they're concerned about.
You've seen you saw what happened with Arsenal. Sometimes it's next man up that's got to come in and go into a big game because this is where kind of your reputation gets made.
Yeah.
They don't think you're a superstar player. If you put in a great shift, you might be able to hold down a key member spot because it is the biggest rivalry here. You know, Chiefs fans are starved of trophies, as you can hear in my voice, the pain. If by hook or by crook we lift it, I think it gives Chiefs board a bit of relief because I've been dragging them through the mud. You know that. I feel like, the family hasn't done enough for them to be in a winning position. This is the time for them to also give something to the fans and then the fans give them some room. I think that's something that, that family's been looking for a long time because 10 years is too long. And the reason we haven't had it for 10 years is because when we were meant to win the PSL, we couldn't get 6 points in like 8 games. So
what you're saying is that Kaizer Chiefs are the Roy McIlroy of golf.
yeah, they just and in my heart, I feel like it opens up the floodgates for more success.
Totally.
Yeah, so
totally.
and beating your biggest rival, that's
So much sweeter.
so much sweeter.
Final question before we get on to the Champions League, the UEFA Champions League. Moses will beat a stadium. Would that benefit or enhance either team's chances of winning, being a neutral venue?
Moses Mabhida, KZN is always Kaizer Chiefs. It's always Kaizer Chiefs.
To watch this full episode, click here, or click here to get previous episodes from the On The Bounce show. Or, obviously, every week, just watch us. Thursday, 4 p.m. from the YouTube channel of The Real Network.